Pantasy have sent me another one of their sets for review. This time it's the Bavarian Tavern. Welcome to another video. I will start this video off as I did with the Pantasy Dinosaur Museum review, which is to clarify that this is not a sponsorship nor ambassadorship and that I did not receive any payment to make this review. Very simply, Pantasy have sent it to me free of charge and I'll be giving my honest takes from good to bad and everything in between, which Pantasy know. I'll also be comparing this to a similar Lego product, which you can probably guess which one. It will be the Tudor Corner. That is my favourite Lego modular building to date. Okay, so let's open up this box and see what's inside. And we have the Pantasy bags. Well, I know there's at least 10. There's 11, 16. Is there any higher than 16? Right. And here is the base plate. And there are 2 instruction books. Oh no, there are 3. We've got 3 instruction books. And then right at the bottom of the box are the wires to light this setup. I've just taken some time to organise the bags according to their numbers. So we're starting down here with number 1 and it goes up to 16. And then up here I've got the minifigures that came with it. So there's 4 there in their bags. Now there is a bag 5, I think it is. No, a bag 2. So this bag 2 does have a split in it. And then I'll probably just put the parts in a sandwich bag and they can be sealed up. And then in here are the large plates. What I'll do next is put these bags back in the box with the highest numbers at the bottom. And that'll make it a lot easier to pull out the next bag that I'm working on as I work my way through the build. So yeah, I'll try and give you some updates along the way as I build Pantasy's Bavarian Tavern. I'm taking this opportunity to drop in with an update. I've brought the build to the breakfast bar and I'm hoping I might get some help from Jess. We'll see. I'm really liking the build so far and unfortunately I was missing a part though. It's a 1x2x2 brick and it's supposed to go in here behind the bar. I don't know how easy that is to see on the screen, but yeah, it's supposed to just go down there somewhere. But it hasn't affected the build. I've been able to carry on. And right now, my favourite parts of this build are these beams around the edge here, including these leaf elements that have been used for decoration. And then I really like this 4-faced clock. I'm already thinking that I might try and replicate it with Lego parts and then dot some around the Lego city. I really like this design. At this stage, I'm moving on to bag 6, which means moving on to the second instruction booklet. And like I say, I'm hoping to get some help. So we'll see how that goes. And yeah, I'll drop in with another update as and when. At this point, we're between bags 10 and 11, and it's been going pretty well. I've had some help from Jess and we've been working on the first floor. So we're starting to see some of that Tudor design. And then I have just noticed that there's a slight mistake here. The wrong tone of these parts has been used here. Although, yeah, I need to figure out where they're supposed to go. I'm assuming it's these. I think, yeah, they've been used in the wrong place. That would be me that did that bit, so only myself to blame. Looking inside, we've got the stage where the saxophonist performs, and there's a double bass. And then there's a table over here with some drinks, a small staircase that will be leading to the next floor, a nice printed part up here. And yeah, it's, like I say, been going pretty well. We're going to take a break from the build right now and we're going to go out and grab a couple of drinks down the pub, enjoy the good weather whilst we've got it. And then I'm hoping to get back and do 2 more bags tonight. I'm hoping to get up to bag 11 and then move on to bag 12 tomorrow and finish the build and get it ready to do that side-by-side comparison with the Tudor corner. I'm enjoying it. It's a good build and I think it's safe to say I prefer this to the Dinosaur Museum, and that's probably because of my own bias with liking the Tudor corner so much. But in any case, yeah, it's a good build. And then tonight we are due to watch The Poltergeist. It's hard to say that I'm looking forward to movie night tonight, but I'll let you know later on in this video how that went. And yeah, I'll check back in with another update as and when I've got one. Here is Pantasy's Bavarian Tavern, and it is incredible. Since we finished building, we keep finding ourselves looking over at it and admiring it. It's such a beautiful set, and the design is incredible. It's really exceeded any expectations that I might have had going into the build. And I'm yet to do that side-by-side comparison with the Tudor corner, but already I'm thinking there's a very good chance that I might prefer this set, which I didn't think I'd be saying. Pantasy have done an amazing job of capturing the Tudor design. It's been done in a very similar way to the Lego one, but it works and I really like the amount of it that we've got on here. And strangely, the part that I'm keep finding myself drawn to is this part in here, which is inset. I don't know why, there's just something about it that I really like. And then as you can see, I've got the light kit on and I've currently got that being powered by this power bank. But it's worth mentioning that with the set you get a USB cable going from the old USB to a USB-C connection. And then down here I do have the 4 figures that come with the set. I won't pretend otherwise. I'm not a huge fan of these figure designs. They're a lot closer to Playmobil, but I will give Pantasy and any other brand really the benefit of the doubt by saying that Lego have such an iconic minifigure design and have really cornered the market that it's going to be very difficult for any other brand to compete. But taking a look at the positives, the print detailing is really well done, and it's nice that Pantasy have given some thought to the storytelling possibilities. On their social media there's a promo video for this set and it gives you an idea of what they were going for with that storytelling. This guy, he's looking very much worse for wear. And then we have a barmaid, a barman, and then these legs that can be interchanged so they can be sitting instead of standing. But for me, the focus is on the set and it is brilliant. It's such a beautiful design. And yeah, I can't just keep looking over at it and admiring it. Let me just turn it around here. I think the power bank's going to go with it. So this side has a rather plainish kind of look, but it does open, which is really nice. I do like this about Pantasy. They don't just rely on the build being taken apart one level at a time. They also include wall panels that can be swung open to view the interior. And how cool does that look, especially with the lights? I'm not a fan of light kits and I find them a little bit frustrating to install, but the result is really good. And to look in there and to see the pub design, it looks great. I had a little issue here when I was building. This is meant to have 3 prongs on it and maybe another pretzel, I'm not sure. But when I was pushing this branch piece into place, I snapped one of the branches off. And then next to that, we've got a stool with some, what I assume is bread and the beer. Oh, I've just noticed that this has come off somewhere. I'll have to figure out where that went. I did not realise that this is, oh, I know what this is. This is the pub sign. Just turn around. There we go. It's a pub sign to go out the front of the building. So that just goes somewhere in this kind of area, just freestanding. It'd be nice if it clipped into place with a stud, but I'm sure it's an easy enough modification to make. But yeah, looking inside here, so this is where it can be a little bit frustrating as a Lego fan. With these alternative brands, they supply so many printed parts. Now, it's nice with Lego's modular buildings that they don't do stickers, but look at the sheer amount of printed parts you get with this set. I mean, just this wall alone, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 posters. And then inside this little coven, it's quite dark. I don't think it's going to show very well on camera, but this is the toilet and there is another printed sign there asking that the punters don't vomit. However, as part of their storytelling, this guy, he's a little bit worse for wear and he may break that rule. And then continuing to spin the build round, we can take a look inside this room here, and this is the upstairs. So this is where the saxophonist plays. So there's his stage in the corner. We've got some drinks along the wall, and then there's a seating area for the figures. And yeah, it's just very nicely detailed. And again, the lights are really enhancing the set. Now, as we continue to take a look around, we can take these roof panels off in a very similar style to the Lego A-frame cabin. So they just very easily can be taken off. And then up here on the top level, we have a kitchen area. So there's a nice island in the middle where the food is prepped. We have an oven and stove and a sink, and then a storage area for the bread. And then on the other side, if I just bring it round, there's a really coolly designed pizza oven, although it seems it's being used for making baguettes at the moment. But I'm sure it'd be possible to get a round tile, maybe with pizza printed on the top, and to put that in there instead. And yeah, this is really cool. I do like this design, particularly this pizza oven. I could be replicating that for something in the future if I ever need to build a pizza oven. And again, that's kind of throwing back to the clock down here, the 4-face clock that I really like the design of. And I'm thinking that I'll replicate in Lego parts and add to the Lego city. Having looked over this set, let's take the time to grab the Tudor corner and to do a side-by-side comparison. I'm intrigued to see how this is going to go. There's a good chance that I'm going to prefer this set. But let's go and grab the Tudor corner and take a look. Well, here are the two builds side by side. So we have the Lego Tudor corner on the left and Pantasy's Bavarian Tavern on the right. At the moment, I do have the lights on, the Bavarian Tavern, so I will turn those off just to give a more balanced comparison. And even still, I think I do prefer Pantasy's Bavarian Tavern if I had to make a choice between the two sets. So probably the most obvious comparison to make between these two sets is going to be the Tudor design. And looking at the Tudor corner, it feels quite limited where it's just along the top here. Whereas the Bavarian Tavern, they seem to have capitalised more on it and added more of it into the build. And yeah, in an interesting take, I think maybe the title Tudor corner could be more appropriate for Pantasy's set here. I don't know, I know that's a hot take, but yeah, just when you're looking at what you get, that seems more sufficient than what we've got on the Tudor corner. It does go around here as well, but it hasn't got the same angles. These ones are a lot more straighter. So yeah. And then as I was working on the Bavarian Tavern, I was thinking that this felt like a tall build, and I was interested to see how it would look next to the Tudor corner. And sure enough, it's towering above it. And the Tudor corner is on a Mills plate, so it's being lifted slightly higher, whereas the Bavarian Tavern is on a base plate. And yet it is still sitting taller than the Tudor corner. Something that I have noticed is that I do prefer the plants on the Tudor corner. I think they feel a bit more brighter and slightly more varied just by having a couple of different colours for the flowers, whereas on the Bavarian Tavern they're all red. I mean, there's a yellow one down there, but it's not that much of variation. And these parts also feel very kind of trumpet-like. They're quite long, and I just prefer what Lego have done here on the Tudor corner. But I mean, that would be an easy enough modification to make to this set. And then if we just turn it around so that we have the haberdashery side showing on the Tudor corner, this is what the two sets look like from this angle. And this does look really nice. These two sets complement each other really well. And then I could also try turning the Bavarian Tavern around. I've got the power bank connected, so let me just disconnect that. And then we can push these sets a little bit closer together. How does this look? Just an interesting look at these two sets. It looks okay, I suppose. Let me just turn this Bavarian Tavern back in this direction. How does that look? I mean, from here it looks okay. I mean, maybe it'd be quite cool if they were ever put together. My Lego City, I'm very much enjoying it being purely a Lego City at the moment. But I suppose if I was ever to mix brands, I could very much see myself adding the Bavarian Tavern into it. And maybe redesigning this part of the build so that it's like a little alleyway between the buildings. But that doesn't look too bad, you know. I quite like that design. And like I say, possibly creating a little alleyway down there, just so it makes a bit more sense. How about if the Tudor corner comes back this way? Not so much. There's a wider gap between the two. But yeah, this looks really cool. I do like the look of this, interestingly. So yeah, if a time ever comes where I'm not such a purist about the Lego City, I could very much see myself adding the Bavarian Tavern. And there it is, Pantasy's upcoming Bavarian Tavern, expected to release in early August. And I am seriously impressed. Thanks for watching, especially if you've made it this far into the video, and perhaps you can consider hitting that subscribe button. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one. See ya.